All right, the Seattle Seahawks have been rumored to re-sign a familiar face. That's not what this video is about. Let's not talk about that. But at the same time, let's talk about it for a second. The Seattle Seahawks have re-signed Drew Lock. Then we're going to go into, you are loaded with picks in the first 3 rounds, 5 of them to be exact. So we're going to go into how I think you can and should use those in a mock draft in the back half of this video. But first, let's talk about Drew Lock and what that means for Sam Howell. But I want to start that by asking you, this is clearly an early April question. Who would you rather have as your backup quarterback? And are you confident in your quarterback situation with Sam Darnold being the guy? So here's my biggest question for you, I guess, would say. When Drew Lock played for you as a backup quarterback before he went to the Giants for a year, who did you have more confidence in right now, Drew Lock or Sam Howell? Because they're going to be battling it out, it looks like, for the backup quarterback position, which could get really unique, could get really, really interesting. Drew Lock did play one very good game for the Giants this year. He appeared in 4 games with consecutive starts in week 14 and 15. Back in 2023, last year he did fine, but Sam Howell got off to a great start, and everybody's like, is this guy actually going to be a good rookie? And then he just kept throwing picks. And then he kept throwing picks. And then he threw more picks. And then after that, he threw some more picks. And it was just picks upon picks upon picks. So let's kind of get past that. Are you settled with your QB room being those 3 guys, or are you just saying, hey, let's see what they look like in Clint Kubiak's system? Because I personally, I'd be happy with it. I think that in a system similar to what Kubiak runs in Minnesota, Sam Darnold thrived. I think that all you need to do is fix that offensive line, the interior of that offensive line, just a little bit. And if you do that, you're going to be good to go. Now, let's get into this mock draft in a second. But before we do that, let's look at the additions that you added in this offseason. All right, you added Sam Darnold. That was your big contract, but I think, quite frankly, a bargain deal for what was a guy who played like a top 10 quarterback last year. I'm not saying he is a top 10 quarterback, but he played like one. Safety DeAnthony Bell, River Craycraft, a wide receiver, Josh Jobe, re-signed, Ernest Jones, linebacker. A good thing getting him back. You had to. Josh Jones on the offensive line worth up to 4.75. It's not a world mover, but it could do something for you. Cooper Kupp was another big deal. Shamar Jean-Charles, DeMarcus Lawrence was your third big deal. And then, you had some re-signings and things like that. So here, and Steven Sims, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, he had a ton of success in the very limited time with Clint Kubiak in New Orleans. There's a reason that you brought him in. He is a field stretcher, but not a long-term thing. What these signings tell me is that the Seahawks are trying to win right now. Jerron Reed, DeMarcus Lawrence, Cooper Kupp, Sam Darnold. These are guys that have been around. They've been around. And knowing that they've been around, that gives you the idea that they're trying to win now. These aren't young spring chickens where it's like, hey, let's sign them to big deals and hope they live up to potential. It's like, no, we know what their potential has been. Let's hope they can stay there. Let's hope they can get back to it, like when you're talking about a guy like Cooper Kupp. So here we go. Let's enter into this mock draft. I love doing mock drafts this time of year. I mean, we got, a week and a half until the NFL draft? Yeah, it's coming up really, really soon. And let's just roll with this. All right. So first you have the 18th pick. As you can see, Tet fell, but not enough. If Tet McMillan fell to you, I would have taken him, and I would have taken him in a second. I would have absolutely taken him in a second. And so the question that you have to ask yourself is, what is the most important position, and what are you looking for? A lot of, by the time you get to 18th, all the guys that you could say are going to be just absolute difference makers on the defensive side of the ball are gone. So I think it's time to turn to the offensive side of the ball with this first pick. You could go in a few different ways. You could go Luther Burden here. This is a guy, he's quick. He's more of a gadget receiver. And catch and run after the ball is what I'm saying. Evidence high catchable pass percentages and a contested catch percentage above 50 2 years in a row. Despite a dense build, he has some reps where he struggles as a blocker. This is interesting to me. He could be good, but Missouri didn't ask him to do a lot. You have another guy in Emeka Egbuka. All right, he tested fine. But does he have all the tools necessary? Do you bring him back with his college teammate, all right, and Jackson Smith and Jigba, and you let them do it on this stage? I think Emeka Egbuka is very, very good. Now, here's an interesting one. Kelvin Banks Jr. keeps falling in these mock drafts into the late 20s. Don't understand why. He is a very good tackle. I think he makes sense. If I can be honest, let me just talk to you about this first pick for a second. I think he can make sense because Abe Lucas has been very talented at left tackle. Keep him there. That's fine. All right? Or I'm sorry, at right tackle. I don't know why I said left tackle, but he's not been healthy. Now, Schneider said that that's behind him, the knee issues. Whether it actually is or not, I don't know. But when I look at a guy like Kelvin Banks, I see a guy who can play outside or inside. They're wondering if he can play tackle because he has shorter arms, 33 and a half. So you tell me where you'd go. I'm between Emeka Egbuka or Kelvin Banks. I think I'm going to go Emeka Egbuka because there's a lot of interior offensive linemen that are available later. So that's where I started. And apparently I only did a run-round drafter. So now we have to go back as we start this entire thing. And it's not a big deal. Don't worry. I'll get it to 3 rounds. We'll go in real quick. We'll start it. We got Egbuka. We drafted him. All right. And now we're here in the second round. All right. So what are we looking at in the second round? What is available to you here? And this is where, there's still a lot of talent. And I love this one player. There's one player that I am obsessed with in this draft. I don't know why. I just am. And it is none other than Jaden Higgins out of Iowa State. All the dude has done is produce. Last year, 87 catches, almost 1,200 yards, 9 touchdowns. Would you like some numbers on him? 6'4", 215, runs a 4.4 40. He's fast. He's agile. He has a good contested catch point. And now all of a sudden I'm wishing I had drafted Kelvin Banks in the first round because now I'm going back-to-back wide receivers in the first 2 rounds. But guess what? I have another pick 2 picks later. So it doesn't even matter. I can do whatever I want, right? This is the kind of the beauty of this draft. This is the beauty of this draft. And now this next one might be a slight reach, but this is a guy who a lot of people are saying is really, really good. He's been a 3-year starter at right guard for Georgia. It helps solve the defensive woes that you have going on here. His pass block grade is the best of all his grades. And he's just a guy that it's like, yep, he's available. Let's go ahead. Let's take him. All right, let's take him because we need interior offensive line help. So now we're sitting here, and we have a couple picks left. And this is where things can get very, very interesting. Do I go for another offensive lineman that could be outside, inside? You have a guy like Jonah here from Arizona. Jonah from Zona. All right. His feet and pass blocking technique should keep him in the league for a while, regardless of his position. If he can get stronger, he has a chance to stick at starting right tackle or inside for his own rushing team. Does that sound like something that fits your needs? It absolutely does. And that's where I'm going with this. All right, so now when we look at this, all of a sudden it's saying, okay, there's some stuff here. And now what you want to do is you want to bring in somebody that can help you, whether it's an immediate type thing, whether it's later, I don't know. Developmental. There are so many different positions and things here, but I'm keeping it all offense. All right? I love this guy too, Jalen Noel out of Iowa State. Same deal. He's powerful, slot receiver, wins with good first step. He can do a lot of different things, and it just all of a sudden in the first 3 rounds, you have solved your offensive issues. All right, you have solved your offensive issues. You've gotten 2 guys that can play on the interior of the offensive line, and you've gotten a whole new wide receiver room. Now, do I think I went too heavy on it? Would I be shocked if they did something like this? I would be. I would be shocked. And now that I've done this and I did it over again, I'd probably go Kelvin Banks Jr. with the very first pick. Then I'd go Jaden Higgins, and then I'd go wide receiver in the second round again, and we kind of go do one of those things. So before getting Tate Rutledge. But, hey, I don't know. What do you think? I'm not super disappointed with it. All right. Hey, again, we are Detroit Lions fans. We don't mess around with that, but we love talking about teams that are ignored by the national media. Seahawks, you just are. It stinks, but you are. And so, hey, we want to show some love to you, give you an honest take of where your team's at. I think they're in a good spot. Thanks for watching.